And
okay, so
not
for those,
yeah.
So not all the brothers, but you're saying two of the
two of the four, and then
two of the four.
Sure.
So couldn't, and this to be the last one, and then I'm going to respond on the virgin thing.
Sure.
So couldn't by proxy, let's say if that word meant all brothers, like this is my brother, those are my brothers.
Sure.
But if my brother Stephen was in here, he would be my
biological
blood brother.
Right.
So if I said 4 of my brothers was in here, it would be 3 by spirit.
Right.
1 by flesh.
Yes, sir.
But I still would have that fleshly brother.
Absolutely.
So if they only named 2 of the brothers' parents and the other 2 are there, the other 2 could be the flesh brother. And the other ones could be brothers of the spirit. We can agree there, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, no sweat.
Absolutely.
So now I want to respond to Mary. When you read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, it's not chronological like the Old Testament. So the Old Testament is chronological. The story of Luke takes place before Mary. So when Mary says in Luke 1:28, I believe, it says espouse there too. Espouse meaning they're engaged to be married, which is the betrothal period that you said.
Which is legal marriage. They are legally married.
Well, they have an agreement to be married. That's what they have. The constant, when they have intercourse, that completes the agreement. Like if you're a spouse to a woman, and let's say if you're a father, you have a daughter, a brother comes to you and wants to marry your daughter, y'all agree. If at any point that agreement gets broken by either party, by you or by him, because they didn't have intercourse, you can break that. But if they have intercourse, you can't. Right. So that's the whole espouse period. So, but if you want to say legal from an agreement position, I won't even fight you on it. Right. So when the angel comes to the Mary and say, "You shall have a child, and he shall be great, called the Son of the Highest," and she says, "How shall this be, seeing I know not a man?" What the angel is doing is telling her what's going to happen, not what's happening. Like she didn't get pregnant in that moment. Because verse 45 in that same chapter says, "Blessed is she that believed, for there shall be a performance of the things that were told to her." So everything that was told to her, when it says the Holy Spirit shall come upon me, the Holy Spirit ain't delivering David's sperm and artificially inseminating in her. She's not the first in vitro woman. I know you're not saying that, because that's what you would have to be saying, because it took sperm to make Christ. So Christ, the Most High, ain't putting sperm in Mary like that. He's not doing that. So when he says that, then you have Matthew's, the first chapter, when it says the birth of Christ was on this wise. When as Mary was espoused to Joseph, before they came together, she was found with child with the Holy Spirit. The latter part in Luke 1, when it says, "And the power of the highest shall overshadow thee," that's talk about protection. And then what does it do? It says, "And also thy cousin Elizabeth hath also conceived," because remember, she was barren. Now the Lord made her unbarren, but it still took intercourse to produce John, who was also born with the Holy Spirit from the womb. So you can't even make that special. So in verse 18, it says Mary was espoused to Joseph. In verse 19, it says, "Then Joseph, not willing to make her a public example, was minded to put her away privately." Most people look at that as catching her in some form of adultery, and that's not what it is. You kind of hinted to it when you said, in their espousal period, they could still be having intercourse, but he has to build a house. She's still living with her parents. I would take the building of the house part, but the living part with the parents part, I would include, because they did have intercourse. That's why it says before they came together, she was found with child of the Holy Spirit. When you have when you have sex and you get pregnant in your father's house, that's a shame in Israelite culture. You being a Roman Catholic, I know you abide by the Apocrypha, right?
Yep. Yes, sir.
In Ecclesiasticus 42nd chapter, it says, "The father waketh for the daughter when no man knoweth, and the care for her taketh away sleep, lest she should be gotten with child in her father's house and be ashamed." So what he was trying to hide, not that he had sex with her, but that he got her pregnant and she's still in her father's house. That's why even the angel comes. The angel says, "Joseph, thou son of David," which is the most important part of this whole thing. Joseph is the only one from the house of David between the two of them. Mary is not. And the prophecy does not start with Isaiah 7:14. It starts with David, 2 Samuel 7:12. And it says, "Fear not to take Mary thy wife." Now for a wife, and the language changed from espoused to wife because they'd had sex. For that which is conceived in her is of the Holy Spirit. So when you go to verse 25, when it says knew her not till she brought forth, that's the conclusion of the whole matter. The first time they had